This question has got all the ingredients which make a question interesting. Now see how. Your g of x is equal to fx plus f of 1 minus x. Let us take the domain from 0 till 1. And now let us split this into parts of 0 to alpha and alpha to 1. As stated in the question, g is decreasing in the interval 0 to alpha and increasing in the interval alpha to 1. Observe carefully, f double dash is greater than 0. Now that means if we differentiate this function g of x, your g dash is going to be, in fact, g dash of x is going to be equal to f dash of x and f dash of 1 minus x, and the derivative of 1 minus x produces a minus, and this is the g dash. And look at g double dash of x. It's equal to f double dash of x and f double dash of 1 minus x with derivative of 1 minus x producing a minus 1 again, making it plus. Both being positive as stated in this question for any x greater than 0 and less than 1. For x as a fraction, x and 1 minus x both remain fraction. Therefore, this is positive and this is positive, and that means g double dash x is also positive, and that means the g function is a accelerating function. That means it is like producing a minima nature in this interval. And if g is producing a minima, let's assume this is the g of x function. Let us assume that this is the g of x function. Now, this minima is going to have a zero slope somewhere. It is going to have a zero slope somewhere. This is the position where g dash of x is equal to 0. But in the entire interval from 0 till 1, from here you can say till this point, g double dash of x is greater than 0 because of this calculation. But observe this. Your g is decreasing in the interval 0 to alpha. That means this is the position of alpha. It is decreasing. That means in this case, g dash of x is less than 0. And in this case, your g dash of x is greater than 0. The g dash function is changing polarity from negativity to positivity. It has to pass through this point of zero slope. This is a definite necessity here. Now that means if g dash is equal to 0 here, and that means alpha is the position where it swings from decreasing nature to increasing nature, then where exactly is alpha? Alpha is going to be a position where g dash value is going to be 0. Now that means fairly simple. This implies f dash of x is going to be equal to f dash of 1 minus x. Now naturally, if fx is a double derivative greater than 0 nature, fx is a concave upwards, or you can say opening upwards function, and this can happen only when x is equal to 1 minus x in this given domain. And in that case, x is equal to how much? 2x equal to 1, x equal to half, and that means this is the situation where alpha is equal to half. And if alpha is half, here you are at the solution of the question. If alpha is equal to half, that means this is tan inverse of 1. This is equal to tan inverse of 1. This is equal to tan inverse of 2. Plus the last thing is going to be tan inverse of half plus 1, 3 by 2 upon half, that is tan inverse of 3. Now we can solve this question pretty easily. Now tan inverse 1 plus tan inverse 2 plus tan inverse 3 exactly equal to how much? Let's look at the tangent function. Let's take a brief look at the tangent function from 0 to 90 degree. If this is your x values, then the tangent function swings from tan of 0 is 0 and it swings till infinity like this. Now let's say your this value is equal to some a. That means tan of A is equal to 1. That's going to be at pi by 4. At this pi by 4, the tangent value, I have taken this as y equal to the tan x function, and that means this is A equal to 1. This is therefore equal to pi by 4. Tan inverse of 2, let's say B equal to 2. At B equal to 2, I am going to have some position here which is going to be, let's say, an angle of B. Let's say this is an angle of B where A is equal to pi by 4. Let's say A equal to pi by 4. And if A is equal to pi by 4, B is greater than A, and then tan inverse of 3 is, let's say, some C. And that means this position is going to be somewhere at C. Then that means this B, this C, both of them are greater than pi by 4. So here we begin with a simple calculation at some position, let's say here, and the calculation says that your B value is greater than pi by 4 and less than pi by 2. C value is greater than pi by 4 and less than pi by 2. That means, dear, your B plus C is less than pi and greater than pi by 2. Greater than pi by 2. Now, greater than 90, less than 180. In the second quadrant, this B plus C summation should be such that tan inverse 2 plus tan inverse 3, which by calculation yields tan inverse of 2 plus 3, that is 5, by 1 minus 6, that is minus 5, as minus 1, that value can be equal to and only equal to 3 pi by 4. That is 135 degree. And therefore, this can be equal to 3 pi by 4 alone. And this pi by 4 plus this 3 pi by 4, the answer is equal to pi. That is equal to this. Therefore, the answer of this question is option D, and that's all. Now see how the JEE main question has tested you on both the inverse trigonometric knowledge as well as on the graphical knowledge of the functions. The ideas of the graphical aspects of the functions is the only thing that is going to make you crack this question efficiently. Thanks for your patience. See you in the next question.